there, but I want you to understand what they're doing. Y'all, they've tried to raise $4,000 a month. And they lived on less than $1,200 of the $4,000 a month. So $2,800 of that $4,000 is going into that orphanage. They don't want to call it an orphanage, but that's what's happening. The whole time they've been on deputation, if you only knew, the kids have been in there. They know how they've been eating, how they've been living. I mean, they have been scraping for the last 2.5 years, saving everything they could so they could get there quicker. For them, Rick gets angry about it. He doesn't like the thought of a missionary traveling back and forth all the time, but his idea of traveling back is for a break from the mission field. He doesn't want a break from the mission field. He wants to get to the mission field. Amen. But it is a scriptural thing to give a report. That's right. And so it has a Bible basis. And they may have to give their report by email or something like that. As far as I'm concerned, that's fine. Amen. I trust them. Amen. Churches need to know, and the reason is not, this is another thing that's a little mixed up. The primary thing that we ought to be interested in is what we can pray for. Now, I know that people need to be financially responsible, financially accountable, but y'all, I can tell you, we don't have any missionaries. We can go down the list. We don't have any of them over there living high. Right. They're barely making it. Right. And a lot of them just live on next to nothing. That's right. We ought to want to know what they're doing and how they're doing so we can pray for them. Amen. That being said, that book sitting back there on that desk, open that thing up. Y'all get here a lot of times early. Y'all look at it. Just take it to your seat and thumb through it. Read the letters. See what's going on with our missionaries. They send those letters. By the way, most of the letters, doesn't sound very good. I don't mean to depress you, but most of the letters that missionaries sent, the pastors themselves do not read. That's a bad thing. That's the truth. Most of them go in the trash. We have missionaries I've never seen, and I read their letters. If they think enough of it that they're going to send me a letter, I'm going to read that letter. And then, y'all, if they send it, they're not sending it to the pastor. This is important. It's relevant. Y'all realize in many churches, pastors change every 2 or 3 years? Yeah. Brother Rick has just spent 2.5 years on deputation. If the places that took him on for support, if half of those churches change pastors in the next 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a large percentage of them that will drop Brother Rick and his wife like that. Because what happens is a new pastor comes in, and a new pastor wants new missionaries that he knows, and they'll drop the missionaries and start all over. This is all messed up. I don't like it. But in order for that not to happen, churches need to be responsible. They need to be accountable. They need to be aware of what's going on with missionaries and pray for these missionaries. Nothing stops you. Nothing. If God has laid some missionary on your heart, regardless of what anybody else does, if God has laid some missionary on your heart, you support them. Support them through your church. But we do that, Brother Art, make sure that the missions money gets where it's supposed to go. But these missionaries, these various ones, they need help. They need our prayers. We need to be aware. I think that missions is too much over here, and the church's work is over here. And we don't see it as one and the same. We're partners in the ministry. We're not separate in the ministry. It means a lot to me when a missionary comes back and they start asking about the people in the church by name because they've been praying for the people in our church by name. And I think if they're praying for you by name, why on earth can we not pray for them? Yes. And that happens, by the way, often. verse 28. Well, they were at Antioch, and they were reporting. And notice, there they abode long time with the disciples. So, you don't want to miss this either. It wasn't that they was taking a break or a vacation. But they was enjoying the fellowship of their sending church, of their church. And they were praying together, and they were growing, and they was getting fed. And by the way, y'all, everybody needs to be fed in order to be able to feed.
Right, man. That's right.
You just can't go on without being fed. You run out of gas.
True.
That's what you do. Y'all, some of you, a few of you have been around long enough. I'll never forget it. It kind of offended me, gosh, it shouldn't have. Fred Adams, first time he was here, which was many years ago. He looked at me and he said, "That preacher's about to run out of gas." No, I'm not. I'll never forget it. I love him a lot. At that time, I didn't know him so well. I thought, "Don't you be talking about me like that." But the truth is, every Christian can get where you're a little bit underfed. You just can't keep going. Is that not true? I know it's old to most of you now, but I'll close with this. To me, it's a good principle. It's easy to remember. You get this balance right in your life, you got something. Jordan River connects the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. And the Sea of Galilee is full of life. It supports all that area of the world. It's got an inlet and it's got an outlet. The Dead Sea has the same water that connects it, but there's no outlet. There has to be a balance in your life. You need to be fed, you need that inlet, and you need to give it out. And if you're not giving it out, you're going to get to a place where you're going to be critical. You'll get to picking one another apart in church. You get to picking your family apart. You'll pick everybody apart but yourself. You'll be like that little boy that stuck in his thumb, pulled out a plum, said, "What a good boy am I." Everybody else will bug you. But when you're giving it out as well as taking it in, you'll be healthy as a child of God.
Right.
Make sure that you got good food going in. You understand the illustrations. Good spiritual food. And then give it out. But if you take it in, not giving out, or you're giving out more than you're taking in, you're going to wind up in trouble. By the way, that's why you go to church.
Right.
Church is a feeding place.
Yes.
You need to be here where you can get fed. I don't really have to ask. Somebody had been in church a long time, say, "How are you doing?" I say, "I'm doing great." You're not either. Be lying. You're not doing good. Smiles thin as it can be. How you been doing so good? Well, what have you been doing with that time? I know we're all the same, y'all. If I don't go to church, if I'm not around God's people, I'm not fed. Oh, it's not good. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, thank you for making provision for us to be able to accomplish your work the way that we need to.